Chapter 12. A brief history of the composition and ranks of the Imperial Star Forces in the present era. The Ov believed in giant warships with firepower to match, but in the foundational period of the Empire, they relied almost exclusively on high-mobility combat units that accommodated 1 to 3 people. Those units were both steered and commanded by the same star pilots. In those times, the star forces were, on a fundamental level, composed of 4-ship formations. Those 4 ships came together in a diamond-shaped formation, with the commander at the head and the vice-commander at the rear. That made the commander the vanguard star pilot, and the vice-commander the rearguard star pilot, while the star pilots to the left and right were the lie wings. Depending on the situation at hand, the 4-ship could split into 2 2-ship formations, in which case the commander and vice-commander led 1 lie-wing star pilot each. When 2 4-ship formations banded together, they could create a yet stronger combat unit. The commanderships were accompanied by partnerships, which meant they now held the reins of a battle unit comprised of exactly 10. As such, they were dubbed Deca-commanders. When the city ship, the Avriel, was all the territory the Ov possessed, combat units numbered from around 100 to 200. As such, while not totally precise, a commander leading a whole force of combat units was called a hectocommander. Several people were assigned as their lieutenants. These were the vice-hectocommanders. Finally, when the star forces began swelling their ranks, it soon became unrealistic to expect a single hectocommander to lead all forces, and so the kilocommander was christened as an even higher position. It was then that the number of troops and the relationship between ranks became significantly vaguer. After the Empire was established, they'd come to make use of a handful of motherships. Naturally, a leader was needed to command that group of motherships, and an admiral was commissioned. The number of motherships increased along with the Empire's expansion, and the need arose for assistance to the admiral, men and women who would preside over subfleets. These were the rear admirals. Eventually, due to advances in space warfare technology, it was deemed more effective to reorganize the armada with larger ships rather than continue administering a great number of high-mobility units. The designations of hectocommander and all lower positions subsequently became the names of ranks and nothing more, without any relation to their actual work duties. The Empire only grew in size, and the scale and scope of the star forces followed suit. When multiple fleets became standing fleets, there were calls for positions even higher than the Admiralty. Thus were born the Grand Admiral and Marshal Admiral. But another problem reared its head. Although the star forces were more than equal to the task of space combat, establishing and maintaining control over so many planets required ground combat as well, something the star forces were not equipped for. Accordingly, ground forces were to be established. The Marshal Admiral was now the Star Forces Admiral, and a Ground Admiral was appointed to command all ground forces. A superior was appointed over both admirals, the Imperial Admiral. However, the age of the 2 armies was short-lived. Owing to the ground forces' inherent nature, the majority of its ranks were comprised of surface-born soldiers. Even though they were landers, those with the rank of Star Pilot and above were treated as gentry or nobility, or in other words, as Ov. Yet they were still not satisfied. They staged an uprising to abolish imperial rule. It was to be known as the Gimrir Rebellion, named after its main instigator, and it was the largest in the history of the Empire. Following a period of harsh struggle, the Empire succeeded in suppressing them, and thereafter decided to dismantle the ground forces. From that point on, the Ground War Armada became an airborne department, a branch of the military as opposed to an independent military. Soldiers now belonged to individual army bases or fleets. The position of Ground Admiral was abolished, but the rank of Aerial Admiral remained, as did that of the Star Forces Admiral. Furthermore, with the advancement of the prominence of each department came the introduction of new ranks, such as the Quartermaster Marshal, Surgeon Marshal, and Engineering Marshal. Note: the specialty branches include the Budget Department, Army Medical Department, and Engineering Department, each of which has its own marshal as its highest rank, as well as the Armed Guard Department, Law Department, and Nursing Department. which have a Grand Admiral as their highest rank, as well as the Artisans Department, Arms Manufacturing Department, Shipbuilding Department, Engine Construction Department, Photon Department, and Navigational Department, which have an Admiral as their highest rank, and finally, the Army Music Department, with a Hecto Commander at its head. Higher ranks are integrated into the Engineering Department.